Hey, we're reacting to How Good Graphics Killed Video Games by Circle Tunes HD. Subscribe to him. Click the link in the video if you want to watch his video directly.
You're watching this video most likely from a phone, possibly a computer or a TV, and if you're really freakish, maybe even a smartwatch.
Hey man, you okay? What are you doing here? Everything all right at home?
But regardless of
What smartwatch even has like video on there, bro? I don't know. I think he capping, bro.
your chosen device, all of them are made up of a combination of red, blue, and green blips, tricking your stupid reptilian brain that what you're seeing is real, three-dimensional, and filled with millions of colors. And since gaming consoles and displays have grown and evolved over time, gaming has tried to keep up, and for decades it did, with enormous graphical leaps that would genuinely, instantly antiquate what came before it. And if you grew up in the 90s like me, you would have seen modern gaming evolve from this to this, and before my childhood, you'd have moved from arcades to in-home gaming to crazy visuals in your pocket. But if you're growing up now or just getting into gaming in the last 10 or so years, you would have seen modern games go from this to this. But somehow the prices to make and play these things have gone from this to this. What? We are no longer living in a time of meaningful graphical evolution, and half the time we seem to be going straight fucking backwards with a monstrously higher development cost too. But why, when we look back at two different titles, really from any era, one striving for realism and the other a defined art style, we reliably get the same conclusion? One will soon be replaced by a slightly different looking, equally as expensive to produce product, but style is forever. Ray tracing! I'm sorry, that seemed a little aggressive.
Yeah, I don't get like how the shit, like every single game costs like the same amount of money. Like you would think they won't have to recode everything because like the game is almost exactly the same with exactly the same game modes and like features. Somehow the cost just goes like crazy every time, and it's like the games are so forgettable. It's like what even is the point, dude?
But I'm being serious. We've spent years and millions of dollars trying to get reflections and lighting to look slightly better for a very small number of systems and hardware, and all we got was an unoptimized setting that half the time
I don't know if anybody else relates to this, but I actually don't like hyper realistic video games. I like really like simple shit. Like I don't know, just like this looks weird to me when it's like super realistic looking, and I just don't enjoy it that much. I really enjoyed a lot of games that are like very simple graphics and like their own like art style, like Valorant, Minecraft, like Fortnite. None of these are really like realistic. I play these games like so much, the graphics are not like crazy good, and like sometimes they're kind of ass. But you know, there's so much fun and like depth, and like the realism isn't really like something that I remember, even like looking back in the nostalgia. Like I played Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 and Garden Warfare 1, and I always thought like the graphics were decent, and because like I had so much like fun playing those games. But like when I look back on the actual game like now and like play it again, like the graphics are really not that good. But my experience that I'm having like now and like I did when I was a kid, it was so much fun that like the realism of the graphics, bro, it doesn't matter. You're not gonna remember that. Like, and it's the same with movies too. Like movies, they can look like kind of low quality, but like if the story is like incredible, then that's what you remember. Like you can remember movies for the graphics, or you can remember them for the stories. And the stories and like the gameplay, if we're talking about games, like that is way more memorable and like way more impactful than any like decent or like realistic graphics will ever be.
your frame rate so you can take really pretty screenshots and play the game in an objectively worse manner.
Hey, hi, why don't we put the same time and energy into researching a better optimization strategy so everyone can enjoy every...
This isn't coming from someone that can't run it. I have a
top-of-the-line gamer PC, and still
the first thing I do when I start a game is turn off motion blur and ray tracing. Wow, now it's actually a good game that runs and looks good.
Yeah, but check this out.
Mario and Unreal Engine 5, hell no! But the argument for or against this for me doesn't only come from a place of aesthetic, because I'm sure with time it'll eventually get better. It also comes from...
Damn, I never seen that Mario game. It looks kind of bad, bro. I don't like it. And motion blur, bro, don't even get me started on that shit. That is the worst thing in the entire world.
From a financial one. The entire newly named AA and higher gaming industry are frantically trying to make their games look as ridiculously next-gen as possible. But newsflash, dipshits, the next-gen doesn't fucking exist anymore. We've We've reached gargantuan levels of diminishing returns here, but we're somehow simultaneously chasing the dragon of progress with 100 times more money than ever before. Development costs have ballooned by tens of millions.
They focus too much on the graphics and not enough on actually making the game fun. Like, if they spent half of the money that they do on graphics and then they put that into game development on like creativity and like people that actually are like good at designing the actual ideas and gameplay of the game, bro, I bet you they would make like way more money, bro. But like they just have so much money, they don't know like where the hell to put it. So they just do like dumbass shit, focus on like making graphics 1% better for like 10 times the cost.
Millions of dollars, which means the prices of games have ballooned with it. Everyone is frantically spending every resource for 1% improvements, and temp jobs, layoffs, and rotating doors are common in the gaming industry now. But I know I don't need to explain how horrible the current game development landscape is, but maybe you haven't considered some of the reasons as to why it exists. Many companies have fallen in love with the video part more than the game part. See, the AAA gaming industry loves marketing, often more than developing. They love flashy trailers, banner ads, slogans, catchphrases, and numbers on a screen that mean absolutely nothing because it allows them to pander to their shareholders.
We are the future! They are the stupid...
Oh man, the new AI-powered glunch board with 90...
Bro, this is the problem with like shareholders. People that are investing in the games are not people who are playing the games. So they don't realize what actually makes a game good. I think this is like why so many games are so bad these days. And like movies too. They're always like spending on the wrong thing because the shareholders and the people who are like creating these or like giving the money for it, like they're giving budgets which they think are make sense to them, but like people who actually enjoy the content that is being created, they know what they actually want, bro. And like
80 billion terashits of mega slop! You'll be blasting off at 14,000 frames of... What are you playing?
It's a 2D Metroidvania that honestly could probably run on a Sega Saturn.
It's unsustainable from the development to the marketing. Attempting to optimize your futuristic next-gen title for 1,000 different rigs and brands of hardware is a logistical nightmare. And the price of that nightmare is passed on to the consumer in either rising costs or broken games. Accessibility matters, optimization matters. Video games were never supposed to cost hundreds of millions of dollars, but now that they do, we should be striving for more innovative gameplay, ways to connect people and push the boundaries on what makes a video game fun.
Oh, but the trailer and the extremely curated gameplay reveal look so good, right? Look at the reflective puddle!
Oh, fuck. I don't look at the bottles. Do not look at the bottle. Like video games, you know what else is also expensive to produce? Animation. And I actually like to pay my team and make sure that they have food.
I did not say you could have 2 hot dogs!
Biblio blames, shockingly, actually haven't been impacted by inflation as much as you may think. In the 90s, PS1 games were $50, and Nintendo 64 games were often $60 to $70 fucking dollars. Fun fact, that's actually where the 64 comes from, because it was 64, never mind. Adjusted for inflation, that would be like $100 to nearly $150 a pop for each game.
All I got was goddamn clay fighter.
Wait, hold up, this game rules. But the cost to make and market a game now is like nothing we've ever seen before. Halo 3's budget was around $50 million, and that included a world-class, one-of-a-kind marketing campaign that took the planet by storm. While Halo Infinite's was rumored to have a budget of nearly $500 million, a 1,000% increase. And as much as I truly love many aspects of that game, it released with a fraction of Halo 3's original content, and the marketing wasn't anything near Halo 3's.
So where is the money going?
Well, game dev teams are armies now. Keeping up with modern hardware is beyond difficult. The marketing world is wider and more saturated than ever. Shipping physical games is becoming a detriment, and post-release support is now mandatory. This is why the prices of games are skyrocketing. Subscription-based models that allow companies to pre-plan budgets are getting more popular, and microtransactions and bleed pricing is getting more commonplace. And if we want all of these things to stop, I'm not kidding when I say games need to be smaller, look less good, and developers need to be paid more. Blockbuster franchises used to take a few years to make, if that. Now it takes a damn decade to make a single game because the expectations are so ludicrously high. That's why indie titles, stylized titles, innovative, weird titles are becoming so popular as of late. And yes, R&D is worth something. Yes, it's in our...
The number one way, or like to prove that it's not about the pixels and how like high quality it is literally looking at like games on Roblox, bro. Like some of them have like the worst graphics of all time, and it's literally so popular. Like stuff like Grow a Garden, bro. A lot of Roblox games have like decent quality, and like on top of that, Grow a Garden has like a stud play style, so it's like even like a little bit like lower quality and like easier to make, I guess. And even that, like that's the biggest game in the world, dude, with 20 million concurrent players at its peak or something like that. It literally shows you it's not about the graphics, it's about the gameplay loop, and that's what people want, bro. They don't want some bullshit graphics that look so good but the game is boring as hell to play. Like I've played hundreds of hours of Minecraft Bed Wars, and that has like there's no graphics that are like crazy in that shit, bro, but the game is like so damn fun that I just like play so much of it, and it's like that's all you need, bro. Like a great gameplay loop. Like sure, graphics matter, but it's more of like a benchmark or like a minimum requirement more than like an increasing amount of like players after this point. So it's like once you hit like a certain level of graphics quality, then most people will play it, and it's not like a system where the more quality it has, the more players that will play, right? So that's what, like, I think that's something that game companies need to realize.
Best interest to strive for better, and yes, we should always be trying to evolve our art. But can we wait until it's more fucking affordable? Nintendo, I feel, is a perfect example that encompasses all the good and bad here. Check this out. Nintendo launches an extremely affordable console that breaks nearly every record ever, but it runs on leapfrog hardware and a dream. Most of their games look extremely good, even on the weaker hardware, because again, a concrete style is worth far more than high-fidelity realism and graphics. But because of that same lacking hardware, some games run poorly or are forced to make optimization cuts, either in graphics or frame rate. So what does Nintendo do? They work on a second console, this time far more powerful than the last, one that can run modern-looking games but maintains the hybrid gimmick. This causes the price to jump up, and even though it's still on the mid-end of modern consoles, it's seen as greedy, despite gamers begging for this exact upgrade.
But I don't like the price!
Then why did you ask for it? Now, games being $70 to $80 is complete bullshit. It's not the highest we've ever seen by a long shot, but it's also obviously not the cheapest, and the new tariffs and trade war doesn't make things easier at all. Why do old Pokemon sprites still ooze charm, but every
It's so interesting to me that like games can be $100 and people will play them for like $100, like in 100 hours, and they'd be like, oh man, that's not worth it, bro. That's not worth the price. But a movie could be like 2 hours long, and it's like $10 to go to the theater, maybe even like $20. It might be like the worst movie ever, and like people wouldn't be as mad about that as like $100 game. And it's like, it's interesting because it's not really care more about the one-time like number that's crazy more than like the average total of how much enjoyment or like how much fun you get from the game based on like the price of it over time, instead of like the one lump sum. Kind of like the same principle with like payment into splitting it into like 4. People are much more like, oh wait, that's actually not that bad, than instead of like one lump sum, even though it's like the same thing, or like the split payments are actually worse. It's kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't want games to be $100, but I'm just saying.
3D Pokemon games somehow looks worse than the last. Why are indie games coming out faster than ever, toppling AAA studios and claiming so many awards? How do these smaller gaming experiences, sometimes made by a single individual, garner such massive loving fan bases? Balatro, Vampire Survivors, Slay the Princess, Inscription, Animal Well, Pizza Tower, Blueprints. Because a refined art style will always age better than the skin pores of the month. Because you can tell an emotional story no matter your poly count. And because bold and defined visuals let your game stand apart and speak for themselves no matter the budget. Just take a look at Expedition 33, a small team's first project, an outstandingly beautiful title that blends the two design philosophies together, sacrificing neither while making a visually distinct and affordable game. By the way, this is like one of the best games I've played in the recent decade. If it doesn't win Game of the Year, I might actually like lose my mind. And this isn't like nostalgia glaze either. This effect happens time and time again, and not just with modern indie games, the gaming industry as a whole. Look, Last of Us is an incredible game. No argument there. One of my favorites, and obviously a very high fidelity and pretty game, especially for 2013. And by the way, do you want your brain to like fucking melt? Last of Us released a year before Dark Souls 2. Yeah, what?
But do we really need to remaster The Last of Us so many times to the point where you can't tell the fucking difference?
Fuck's the point of this? What the hell does this mean? You all are spending millions on something I can't
Fucking say!
Now, none of these arguments mean bunk shit if I can't point you towards a modern game that encompasses all of the attributes I'm seeking in a title. Affordable for the consumer, low development costs, balanced and sustainable work environment, gameplay first framework, kinda indie but kinda not indie, no long bloated playtime, stylized graphics that will age beautifully, heart, soul, and dare I say it, fun?
What the hell? A game's priority being fun?
I give you one of the most innovative, impressive, and genuinely fun games ever created, where there unironically wasn't a 5-minute gap at any point where I wasn't smiling ear to ear. If I could sum up this title in one word, it would be hybrexneotheristic, which I made the fuck up because there's no actual fucking word in the English language that can describe how good this game is. From the very first second to the last, this game assaults your senses with a bombardment of creative ideas, only to throw them away 5 minutes later so they can fit in another dozen crazy mechanics into the same section of the same level. It's downright baffling how many fun and interesting gameplay ideas are packed into this 12-hour game and how often they build off of them multiple times. Not only is Split Fiction insanely
That's a really big game though.
fun, but it's optimized beautifully, runs like butter, and looks so damn good. I've never seen a studio flex how comfortable and confident they are like this. It seems like every art asset, set piece, landscape, color, style, and effect was lovingly crafted with zero internal friction. Everything is on full display here with unabashed passion and heart.
Yo, this kind of sounds like an ad for this game though, yo.
Game is a 10, but it's not just a 10. It's a 10 that also has a buddy pass, so your co-op partner doesn't even need to pick the already affordable game up to play the entire experience. It's a 10 that pursued a timeless...
Wait, that's actually amazing, yo. Wait, that's actually cool that once you buy it, your co-op partner doesn't have to buy it as well. That's awesome, actually.
Cost-effective...
I've never heard of that before, so that's really cool, man. For them for doing that.
Beautiful art style. It's a 10 that prioritized the player over the profits. It's a 10 that proved you can still develop a Game of the Year contender without spending hundreds of millions of dollars. But maybe most importantly, it's a 10 that I know I can replay in 20 years and it will still be as good as I remember it.
Hey, this video was amazing from Circle Tunes HD, so please go and subscribe to them. And then if you like my reaction, subscribe to me as well. See you next time.